And we're back. The Big Cats have closed off the series and they have punched their ticket to the Stanley Cup Finals for the third year in a row. Meow. I mean, however you want to do it. The Big Cats are in. They knock off the Carolina Hurricanes in 5 games. The gentleman's sweep, as they call it. And Carolina had some really nice pushback in their game today. They were this close. But at the end of the day, the Florida Panthers are in a class all of their own. It was the Toronto Maple Leafs, if you can believe it, that pushed them to their absolute brink and maximum capacity this year. But Paul Maurice and the Florida Panthers, led by an absolute all-star roster of big hitters, grinders, fighters, sometimes dirty players, puck retrievers, and overall demons, absolute demons at gap control. We're going to talk about all that today. Dispatch everybody in the East, and they are on the way to play the Western Conference champions, who right now does look like it's going to be the Edmonton Oilers, so we're heading for a rematch. This is how the NHL works, guys. Big Cat fans, you know this now. Welcome to the club. It's an exclusive club. Stanley Cups, they come in bunches. Success comes in bunches because of the salary cap. Once you lock in your players for 3 to 5 years, you have that core and you're able to press and continue to push. That is where Florida is now. There's also another caveat. You have to advance rounds. You have to play round after round after round and get used to playing playoff hockey, and the Florida Panthers know how to do it. They've known how to do it for 3 years, and we are now at the apex of what Paul Maurice and that team in Florida has built. Now, the Carolina Hurricanes have been knocking on that door from the Eastern Conference side of things, but they haven't been able to progress through that Eastern Conference final. I think a lot of Hurricane fans are going to be happy with their effort in the last 2 games. They did a great job last game taking a game. This game, unfortunately, the Stars just came out to play, and we're going to hear it. We're going to hear it. We're going to hear it. Carolina doesn't have enough stars. I don't believe that. What I believe the difference in this series is that the Florida Panthers have a playoff switch. The Tampa Bay Lightning had one. The Edmonton Oilers have one. Every team that makes it deep plays different in the playoffs. The way the Panthers are playing right now is unsustainable in the regular season. You can't do this because you'll just be injured, outdone. But when you get to the playoffs, you got to be able to turn it on, and the Florida Panthers know how to do it. What is it about that playoff switch, you may be asking yourself? Well, you got to realize the rules change. They let a lot more go. You got to get them before they get you. Florida does an unbelievable job of that this series. Whack, hack, hit, slash. Look, guys, if you don't like it, and I know the Big Cat fans do like it, Carolina Hurricane fans, I know you're all right with it though, but if you don't like it, you don't watch hockey and you don't understand hockey and you're asking for something that doesn't exist. When those gates close, those players will do anything to win. They will target anybody. They will hit anybody. They will slash anybody at any point in the game, and they will take you out. They will injure you. Brad Marchand's on the Panthers. He has admitted to this many, many times. That is playoff hockey. That's one of the switches you have to flick. You have to get into that greasy, tough as nails mode, and Florida does. The second switch you have to flip, net front pressure on both sides. You got to get to the net. You got to take punishment. You got to give punishment. But more than that, you got to be smart up here, and you've got to make those adjustments in front of your own net and in front of their net to get rebounds and put pucks in and keep them out of your net. You also have to have your goalie get hot at the right time. And then probably the most critical aspect to playoff hockey, it isn't actually the physicality in my mind. It's being able to create time and space with speed in the neutral zone. And that's what Florida did a better job of than Carolina in this series. They took time and space away from Carolina, and they gained time and space in the neutral zone. You need that switch because every inch that players skate harder gives you a monumental advantage. So Carolina is going to have to learn what is required within their locker room and their team to flick that switch. We've seen moments where they could do it. They just didn't sustain it for long enough, and that's why the Big Cats get through. But this is a rebuilding year for Carolina. So if I'm a Carolina Hurricanes fan, I'm pretty pumped. I think it's an overall successful year. You gained a lot of assets going into it. You have a lot of young players going into there. I thought it was so funny when they asked Seth Jarvis, what did you feel when you were a young man? And he went, young man, I'm a year older than these guys. This team is so deadly young. Their window is so long. Don't forget, Hurricane fans, Panthers and Panther hockey was asking themselves this 4 or 5 years ago. What are we going to do? We're never going to get over this hump. What needs to change? And eventually they did get over the hump. So Carolina will retool. They'll get some draft picks in. They'll move some capital. You got to trust the process. You got to trust the coach. You got to trust the team. They got great core pieces. They will continue to develop. They'll be a threat for a long time. You make an Eastern Conference year in a rebuilding year, you have done great. But on to the champs, the Eastern Conference Championos. Let's talk about some of these players. I have this sorted by time on ice. Seth Jones was an absolute monster for these guys. What an acquisition this year. 25 minutes per game. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. His expected goals for, which is right here in this category, oh my goodness, was this guy good. 52.6% on the Corsi, 54.2% on the expected goals for. Just gobbling minutes. Gustav Forsling, same thing. Massive contributor, 22 minutes. And then, of course, the best defensive forward in the NHL, Aleksander Barkov. Sasha Barkov doing everything he needs to do on both sides of the puck. But the guys you really have to highlight, I mean, these guys are so all important, but Verhaeghe is just a playoff monster. This guy has that playoff gear. You go ahead, you light a fire under him. He has been absolutely dominant in the playoffs with the Florida Panthers, not just this year, but last year and the year before. Absolute MVP on the wing for the Big Cats. And then Sam Bennett, the $10 million man. Look, guys, this guy's going to get paid like gangbusters. He's an unbelievable asset to any franchise, any organization, and the Calgary Flames let him go. So that was Florida's gain in their acquisition of Bennett, and he is just a difference maker in this series. You pair him with two other difference makers like Matthew Tkachuk, who will be a mainstay on this team for a long time, and Brad Marchand. We don't know where he's going to go, but this guy loves to compete in the postseason, winner of a Stanley Cup, loves to make it far. I think he's going to add a second one to his resume here with Florida. Unbelievable job by these guys all up and down the roster. Everybody's going to want me to talk about every single player on the roster. And guys, I know you have your favorites. So you're going to let me know down below in the comments, who do you think was the unheralded hero of the Florida Panthers? Who are you watching? Who passes the eye test? Who is critically important for you? While you're down there, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Let's do this, Big Cat fans, all the way to the Stanley Cup for you guys. 4 wins away. So leave those comments. Let me know how it's going. Like and share that video. Now, here's another big thing Florida has done is they take away time and space. There you go, the puck carrier on it. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to highlight what they can do here when they are coming in. Look, the puck support is absolutely massive. So here's your puck support. You got your first player. You have your puck support coming in. But because of that puck support, you can step in, you can make that hit, and you can separate man from puck. It isn't just about making a hit. It's about separating that puck and making sure that you have supporting players there to pick it up. And Florida did all series. This is where they killed them in the neutral zone. Another example here with Barkov taking really good angles to it. Take a look at Schmidt. Take a look at the defenseman. They haven't yet crossed the red line. They are setting themselves up for absolutely excellent gap. So we're going to take a look at what Barkov can do here on the takeaway. You play that angle. You make sure you get the stick in the lane. It doesn't always have to be a hit, but what's there? It's puck support again. It's always puck support. Look, 1, 2, and we're ready to puck support. Even with a third, if required, they pick it up and they transition. They're gonzo. And then you've got Seth Jones here, the man, the myth, the legend of the hour. Beautiful little puck pickup here. Pressure, no problem. Sticks with it, able to separate from his man. Again, there's still no pressure from him. Moves it around the boards. That puck ends up on the stick. Mikkola takes a hit. You got to take hits in the playoffs. And they move that puck out with the chip and chase. Jones has just been a revelation for this team. So not only are they taking away that time and space, and did they take away that time and space from Carolina in the series, but they took the hits. It's not like Carolina was wallflowers here, guys. They slashed, they hit, they threw body, but it wasn't enough when you're playing the Panthers. I mean, they even took Reinhart out with what I thought was a beautiful, clean hip check. You don't have to agree. That's a hit from my day. It still exists. It's never been taken out of the rules. I thought it was just fine. Carolina pushed as hard as they could, but Seth Jones is who we're talking about here. His ability to regroup, move a puck around the wall there. Mikola's ability to take that hit, move it up, boom, chip, they're gone. Florida did that. Wash, rinse, repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat. That's that playoff gear. That's that no panic. That's that no turnover attitude. And they took it away at all ends of the ice. Take a look here. You make a pass up to the middle. You get it in. This is supposed to be a Carolina specialty to get it in, but take a look at who's there. They're there to turn it over. Florida makes a great turnover here. Ekblad, its partner out there. That puck ends up in the neutral zone. It's a bouncing puck, but it's Florida that comes up with it. Yes, it's an offside, but Florida would have been just fine at taking that one away. These are just the clips to show you how little time and space was available at all aspects of that neutral zone. And I mean, you can't even flip it out on them. So take a look here. You get into the corner, you pick up the puck. Burnsy's just going to put a high one in the air, send it, no problem, because it's Mikkola who stays within the gap. This is such disciplined hockey. You stay here, you battle, and who's on the right side of the puck both times? Florida. There are no Carolina Hurricanes there to support. You battle it through, you get it out of the zone. And to me, this was the eye test you probably all were seeing. Maybe you couldn't put words to it. Maybe you could, but this is what made the difference to me in this series. That neutral zone time and space takeaway by Florida. There are so many other aspects we can talk about that they did really well, but I really think that's a nice nugget to take away, put in your brain as the Big Cats fans, because if you do have to play the Edmonton Oilers, I mean, they haven't won yet. Dallas can get through. Edmonton is an absolutely devastating team in the neutral zone to play against. So Florida is going to do a really good job of gapping up on teams. It's going to be so interesting to see if they do match up against Edmonton, how they do, because Florida fans, you may not notice it, but Edmonton has gotten significantly faster since last year. They are the best team at carrying the puck in the neutral zone. This is going to be some tic-tac-toe. Here we go, man, because Florida is really good at taking away that time and space. Challenge with Florida is, even though they have the puck support, is that if you do get around them, pucks do tend to go in the back of the net on odd man rushes. But hey, Sergei Bobrovsky shuts those down and takes them away. He did an amazing job this series against Carolina. There were plenty of grade A opportunities from the Canes, and he took them away. Edmonton's a different monster if they get through, and Dallas is a different monster as well, too, because they have some unbelievable superstars that can bury the biscuit. But Bobrovsky did an amazing job in this series of shutting down the best of the best, Aho, Jarvis, and the rest. And speaking of Aho, somebody had the audacity to tell me he wasn't doing very good in my last video. That one stuck with me. Comments very rarely do, but that one stuck. 2 goals tonight. Sebastian Aho is an absolute superstar in this league. Low key, that is what he is. I told you he was playing great all series. I think he was the absolute best player for the Carolina Hurricanes out there in this series. He's a monster to deal with. He is very tough to deal with on both sides of the puck, defensively and offensively. Gets the first 2 tonight. So Aho, great series. Any team would be lucky to have a player of that caliber anywhere in their lineup. All right, let's get into the game clips of tonight. Florida likes that high and off the glass. There it goes. They end up playing it up and out. You're going to pick it up and you create one-on-one battles this way. That's why they like to do the high and off the glass, because they do believe one-on-one they can beat anybody in the league. And I don't see why they don't believe that. They pick it up. Of course, it's Matthew Tkachuk. He wins the battle. And this is the big thing in the NHL this year. Maybe it's been around for a couple years, but it's still pretty new. You bump it back and you carry the line with speed because it forces and it blows up the D zone. It makes that gap almost impossible to hold if you're a defenseman. It's very hard to defend. This is the new way the NHL goes. And you flip it out of the zone, you move it over to Bennett, and now you have numbers. You have to drive the net. The reason you get beat is because of that bump in at the blue line. That's the reason you're beat here. You're just flat-footed as a defenseman. It is very difficult to handle this kind of speed coming in. Bang, it's in the back of the net by Verhaeghe, and there's another great example tonight of why Bennett is an absolute monster. Arguably the most important line to Florida is their third line. Why do I say arguably the most important? Because when you have a third line advantage like Florida does in this series and in every series, it is really hard to beat. This is what we call a high-low switch. So it comes off face-off. It has a terrible camera angle because the NHL always has terrible camera angles. Just do the far away camera, but whatever. Let's make quick cuts for the TikTok generation. We move it out here, and it's Brad Marchand who comes high, and then you're going to want to cut low. This is a high-low draw. So you tie him up in the middle, You go to the net down low. You make sure your guy picks up the puck nice and high up here, and then you move. You start moving and you get pucks to the net. This creates time and space, and this creates the gap that you see here. So this is a set play. I love these set plays. It takes lines like this to be able to do it. You pick up this puck, you create that momentum, and it's Marchand that gets in. And unfortunately, as much as I was singing his praise, it's Aho that gets burnt here. But I don't really think this is on the player. At the end of the day, this is a very, very good set play, and I just don't think they were ready for it. You lose the draw, you get the stick on it. Aho loses his man, bang, it's in the back of the net by Lundell. They're going to be such a big advantage against the next opponent that they play. This really is a second, if not a first line on some teams in the NHL. On a top 2 playoff team, it's the second line at best. It's probably not a first line, but on some of the teams that are out of the playoffs, this is better than their first line. That's how good these guys are. And then finally, game-winning goal tonight by Verhaeghe. They leave the zone with all the speed in the world like they do. They move it over to the side. Bang. You're going to end up moving that puck in. Absolute fantastic battle here. And who are on it? Well, it's 2 Florida Panthers, of course, and it's Sasha Barkov. Barkov's going to shake off the check here from Orlov, and they allow him to play. They've now gone into a 2-3. You might call this a 2-1-2, but I always believe this is a 2-3 when you start getting up high, like Bennett is getting up high. Reinhart is getting up high here. And you're going to have Verhaeghe behind the net, and he is just going to trust Barkov to beat him one-on-one, which Barkov does. Now you're in that 2-3 like I'm seeing. You step out, and it's so dirty. This is such a high IQ play. Like, this is what I mean when I said you got to know what you're doing by and around the net at all times. Net front presence matters. You are here as an outlet pass right now. So you're waiting. You can see him down. You can pick it off, and you can come in here, and you can have a player come up here, and Verhaeghe can make a pass. But Sasha Barkov here, Aleksander Barkov, he's going to step through and take a look at the read. Bang, it's in the back of the net. It's being able to play off your line mates like that and use IQ like this and go to the right spots at the exact right time, regardless of whether you're being touched or not, and put goals in the back of the net. That is what the Florida Panthers, the Big Cats, are all about. And that's why Verhaeghe has been so good. So congratulations to the Florida Panthers. Unbelievable job in the neutral zone. Great job all over the ice. Your goalie, your power play, your penalty kill, your neutral zone, your offensive zone, your net front presence. It's all there. This is a complete team. It is going to be a handful for any team in the West to take away the cup from them. Before the playoffs started, I had Florida going the whole way in the East. Never take a victory lap over who you pick. Because you know what? If you're a Florida Panthers fan, of course you pick the Panthers. I picked the Jets. I'm a Jets fan. Of course I picked the Jets in the West. Why wouldn't I? Number 1 team in the regular season, out in the postseason, it happens. Hockey is one of the luckiest games in the world. And you know why? Because everyone is so skilled. When the skill gap is this far away, and it is in hockey, compared to basketball where the skill gap is miles between LeBron and the next best player. Yes, hockey has aces in the hole. It's got unbelievable players, but because they can only play 20 minutes of the game, sometimes 25, the skill gap is so close together with all these players that actually introduces more luck. So it's really weird, but the more skilled everybody is, the luckier it becomes, because one bad bounce, you can outplay your opponent for 59 minutes and your goalie can stand on his head. One bad bounce, you lose the game. You can lose series. That's the way hockey goes. So Florida puts themselves in the best position night in and night out to be the luckiest team to win. Hard work puts you in that position to win. Deep rosters put you in that position to win. Hitting your opponents puts you in that position to win. Slashing your opponents, pulling your opponents, doing it in the right way. The right way doesn't necessarily mean the way every fan agrees with. There's no code. Throw the code out. It doesn't exist. Sorry. Doing it in the right way to help your team when it's your time to help your team, not help yourself selfishly. Florida does not do that. These guys are so charming in postseason interviews and so polite after the game because that's who they are as people, but on the ice, animals. They're absolute animals. They are named after the Panthers. These guys will kill you in a rink and smile the entire way, but that's the way hockey's played. We love it. It's the way it goes. I'm so excited to see them in the next round, and I'm so excited to see you guys for the rest of it. Thank you for sticking with me on my holidays there through BC. Big thank you to my wife for helping me film, my friends for coming out with me there. I tried to get you every game I could at the time. I had to take a bit of a break, but I'm with you all the way through to the Stanley Cup and after and into the NHL draft. So thanks for being with us, Big Cats fans. Hurricane fans, tough. I'll see you. I'll see you a lot. I love the Canes. I love the Caniacs. I love the energy you guys brought. You are world-class fans. World-class. And you are a world-class hockey team. Don't let anybody else change that or take that from you. It stings. I know it stung for me last round as well too, but only one team can win the cup. So I'm going to be doing a lot more Canes content. It will be here. There are 32 teams in the NHL. There's going to be tier lists coming out. There's a whole bunch of reasons for you guys to stick around at this channel. So lick the wounds. It'll hurt for a while. Go golfing. Carolina's beautiful for that. And we'll see you guys a little bit later. Big Cat fans, I'll see you, though, for game 1.